All right, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. It's a quick show to the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua. Let one of you brothers be edified. Something real quick, like I said. And, I was going to do a show on something else, but Elder Ayathan has sent a video. And the video is on IUCPK talking about the polite thing. Alright, let me see if I can find it right here. Polite's judgment for coming against IUCPK Captain Tazariak. Alright, so they made a show out of this. I just caught 20 minutes of this crap. Of this thing. And I see how they format it is and everything like that. They're everything that we talk about. But for them to sit there and say the reason why this man's getting judged is because he offended them, I'll let that slide. You know why? Because there's a bigger picture. Alright? There's a bigger picture that's being played right now. I'm going to go to the scripture. Isaiah 28. I believe I'll start at 3. I'm sorry. Isaiah. I'm sorry, not Isaiah. Jeremiah. 28:4. No. 5. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah, in the presence of the priests, in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Lord. Matter of fact, I gotta go up. Verse 1. And it came to pass the same year, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 4th year, in the 5th month, that Hananiah, the son of Uzziah, the prophet, which was of Gilba, spake unto me in the house of the Lord, in the presence of the priests and of all the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, the power of Israel, saying, I have broke the yoke of the king of Babylon within 2 full years, and will bring again into this place all the vessels of the Lord's house that Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, took away from this place and carried them to Babylon. And I'll bring again to this place Jonakah, the son of Jonakam, the king of Judah, with the captives of Judah, and went into Babylon, saith the Lord. For I will break the yoke of the king of Babylon. Then the prophet Jeremiah said unto the prophet Hananiah, in the presence of the priests, in the presence of all the people that stood in the house of the Most High, even the prophet Jeremiah said, Amen. The Lord do so. The Lord perform thy words which thou hast prophesied, to bring again the vessels of the Lord's house, and all that is carried away captives from Babylon into this place. Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thine ears, and the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries, and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. The job of a prophet. When you read what Ezekiel, the 20th chapter, tells you what's in this book, woe, lamentation. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. 2 and 10. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and it was written therein lamentations, mourning, and woe. Alright? That's what's written in the scriptures. Nothing good, what would the world would say, is written in the scriptures. Flat out. So Jeremiah said, look, the prophets, all prophets that came before, that's what they prophesied against. In verse 9, the prophet which prophesied of peace when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall that prophet be known that the Lord hath truly sent him. And this is what you're seeing. We're seeing two sets of prophets. All right. We're seeing GMS. All right, prophesying of the downfall of America, telling you about not to take that Vanessa, all right, that liquid love. And you have these prophets speaking of take the stuff to be, and take it. If you don't take it, you're a coward. Now, who you think has the right word? All right. He mentioned GMS and how GMS teach about rape, but they didn't go out there and do it. So I guess that's his way of saying, that was all bull. But overall, yes, this is the time for every man that this man said something about to get at polite, because he is wicked. But at the same time, you're not doing your job. You're not warning the people. It says, then Hananiah the prophet took the yoke from off the prophet Jeremiah's neck and broke it. And Hananiah spake in the presence of all the people, saying, thus saith the Lord, even so will I break the yoke of Nebuchadnezzar, being dramatic. That's what he was doing, he's being dramatic. King of Babylon, from the neck of all nations, where within the space of 2 years, and the prophet Jeremiah went his way. Then the word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah, and the prophet, after that Hananiah the prophet had broken the yoke from off the neck of Jeremiah, saying, go and tell Hananiah, thus saith the Lord, that has broken the yoke of wood, but thou shalt make them yoke of iron. But thus saith the Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, I will put a yoke of iron upon the neck of all these nations, that they may serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and they shall serve him. And I will give him the beasts of the field also. Then said the prophet Jeremiah unto Hananiah the prophet, hear now, Hananiah, the word that Lord has not sent thee, but that has makest this people to trust in a lie. And that's all these guys do. They trust in a lie. They make people trust in a lie. Ezekiel 13, I believe it's 15. Matter of fact, I just want to go to the point. Ezekiel 13, and I'll start at 15. Thus will I accomplish my wrath upon the wall, upon them that have daubed it with untempered mortar, and will say unto you, the wall is no more, neither they that dubbed it. To wit, the prophets of Israel, which have prophesied concerning Jerusalem, which see the visions of peace for her. There is no peace, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yashai. Likewise, thy son of man, set thy face against the daughters of thy people, which prophesied out of their own heart, and prophesied thou against them. So you have all these other cans preaching peace, safety. If you take this, take that. If you do this, you do that. When the time that we're in a stage of judgment. All right? And these guys fail to understand that. Though he mentions it, he fails to understand the gravitation of what he's saying. We're in a time of judgment. All right? Micah 3, I'll just go to the end. 3 and 9. It says here, this I pray you heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Lord, and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. And that's what they're saying. There's no fear. He makes mention that he fears the Most High, but he fears and praises Yohanan. So who you fooling, man? There's a great difference between GMS and all these other camps. All right, we're consistently out there. We are always out there. For all you guys to make mention of GMS and like they're saying, oh, what did he say? He said, yeah, they I'm not gonna put it up because I'm not gonna give them the shine that they need. But they was basically saying that they defeated us and the downfall of all their enemies and so forth. And I'm saying and looking at them like, what? Like what? The Lord isn't dealing with you? Now, we didn't get the memo. Because you're the same ones that's telling you that the Revelation 13 and 16 is not the MOTB. You're the same ones that's telling the people to go out there and get this stuff. So are you preparing the people for what's to come? All right. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest. Because of your ass, these people is gonna become destroyed. They're gonna be destroyed, man. Always they worrying about the radio show and doing this, that to the third, and doing extra shit when you're not supposed to do it. We was commanded to go out there in the highways and byways and teach. That's it. All this extra shit is unnecessary, and all this extra shit is gonna get you niggas destroyed, man. And we can't wait. All right. Matter of fact, Luke 12:47, it says, and that servant which knew his Lord's will. What is the Lord's will? Matthew's 10, something basic, and 6. It says, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, and as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely have you received, freely give. It says, provide neither gold nor... Matter of fact, that's one good one. Let me get the other one, since I was already there. It's Ezekiel 13:1. It says... no. Right here. Ezekiel 13:3. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Hashem, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit, and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like foxes in the desert. They have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in that day of the Lord. You're not out there in the highways and byways doing what you're supposed to do. You go out there when it's convenient for you. How can you say you serve the Most High when it's clearly seen that you serve yourselves? You serve your leader, which your leader don't even go out. All right? We was commanded to go out there in the highways and byways, to go out in the gaps. See, in season, out of season. All right? So these guys, they can say what the hell they want to say, but at the end of the day, the world's going to see who the Lord's been dealing with. All right? And they're going to clearly see that from Apostle Tahar on down, the Lord is dealing with GMS. So they could take all the credit in the world. They could have the world fooled thinking that the Most High did that for them. They could do that. Let them believe their... and the Lord said that I should choose their delusions. Let them believe that. Because the next few stages, why is it this guy's always on the limelight? Either he talking about hypocrisy. He says he ain't gonna take the thing. Then he's saying he took it. So that way people won't be afraid to take it. So who you serve? The people or the Lord? So, something real quick through the Spirit. I don't want to go on to this. Showing the hypocrisy of these other camps, man. They want to let them do what they do best. The Lord's going to destroy all of that. Hey, that's what the scriptures clearly tells you. The Lord shall start at the house of Israel first. All right? And all these guys that claim to be Israelites, they're going to be destroyed. they're not teaching it the way the Lord taught them. All that extra shit, gonna get you in trouble. So with that being said, shalom up to the elect of the nation. Shalom up.